Centers for Independent Living. Independence Amplified Maryland is a weekly broadcast that we present to the disability community so that they have more information about relevant services and resources in the state of Maryland. My name is Lydia Beliowska. I'm with the Southern Maryland Center for Independent Living, and we serve Charles, Calvert, and St. Mary's counties. This program is recorded, just some housekeeping rules. It will be posted on YouTube within 48 hours. If you would like to ask a question, please place that in the chat feature if you are able to, or raise your hand and we'll stop for a second and let you ask your question. You can unmute yourself. If you want to ask a question, everybody's muted just to minimize background noise. At the end of the program, we'll have the opportunity for some community announcements. So if you can hang on until then, you'll have a chance. And now I just want to introduce our speaker for today. His name is Mike Moses, and he's a disabled veteran service officer. He served during the Vietnam War era, and he dedicated his life to advocating for and providing services to other disabled veterans. He is currently a member of the Board of Commissioners for Veterans in Charles County, and he's also the state commander of Maryland's National Association of Black Veterans, NABVETS. Mr. Moses is also responsible for beginning the Southern Maryland Chapter 96 of NABVETS, and it serves Charles, Calvert, St. Mary's, and Prince George's counties. And he's going to give us a lot of information today about benefits and services for veterans in the state of Maryland. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mike Moses.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this privilege of coming on board and speaking with you. I've been working with veterans for a while, I guess for the past almost 15, 20 years. Veterans have become my heart and soul. I actually work with it 24/7. The organization I belong to is on the same affiliation as DAV, VFW, etc., and recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs. If you ever have a chance to go into the website, they'll give you a list of all the various organizations that actually help and assist veterans through their benefits, their compensation and whatnot. But when you're dealing with your claims and whatnot, it's always be advisable that you deal with somebody who's recognized by the General Counsel of VA. When I'm saying recognized, everybody thinks that they want to represent a VA, but sometimes as far as your compensation, but at times VA says, well, look, we have stipulations and we want people to actually kind of get into the various programs of education and become accredited by the General Counsel. So that's basically one of those requirements. Not saying everybody else doesn't know various things or whatever. I'm not trying to say that, but it's always good because when you submit your claim, it's always good to have that person's name at the bottom of your claim. That shows that VA that you have checked with somebody that kind of works with you, that they have been approved, they have approved. So with that, we can kind of go into the various avenues of filing a claim. Most of my veterans, male and female, I've always asked them to just don't walk into a room and say you want to file a claim. A lot of times we do that. We have a tendency of doing that, and you get a lot of kickback when you file a claim. When I'm saying a claim, is actually you want to have something related to a service connection that you have from the military. Basically, I always have my veterans do their research. Just don't go through the door acting like, well, I know what's going on. This particular person said he can file my claim immediately. You have to have your documentation. The first thing you have to have is really your DD-214. That really helps everybody kind of know what direction that you really fulfill the responsibility and obligation of being a vet. Then basically, you go through a little question, a Q&A. How do you feel about coming in and talking to me as far as a service connection? What really happened? What branch of service were you in? What was your MO? What type of medical occupation did you, I mean, not medical, but what type of occupation did you have when you were in the military? What branch were you in? Where were you located? We take that basic information and start forming a foundation of what's going on. It doesn't matter if it's World War II, the Korean War, whatever. There's something that went on there that you can actually be affiliated with or have some type of experience with. You want to bring it out. I ask a lot of people to just start begin to do your research, start writing things down. You know, those little notebooks we used to get our grandkids and our kids, you know, when they were going to school, you had that type of little notebook. So you start making your notes of what's going on, what you've done, how you have been affiliated. Sometimes a lot of us walk around on a daily basis with an 800-pound gorilla, because most service people, when you serve beyond 120 days in boot camp, you're actually a veteran. You qualified in that category. But a lot of times things happen when we were in the military, and for years we carried this 800-pound gorilla on our back. Sometimes that PTSD, it just doesn't want to leave you. And most veterans have to recognize within themselves, they're still on duty. You were trained, but you were not detrained. And with that type of information in your mind, you always want to look at every four corners. You know, you don't want to sit with your back to the door, to the windows, to the walls. Sometimes 4th of July is one of the worst holidays you can have. And it just takes little things that could trigger you off. I'm working at the VSO. I work out of the branch out of the Andrews Air Force Base area and surrounding area. Just to give you a scenario, I had a parent and a veteran come in with his girlfriend, his parent, and a pastor. And they came in and they were complaining to me. They said, well, you know, Mike, there's something wrong with him because he always watches TV all day long. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to move from the front of the TV. And so we went back and forth for a while. Then the gentleman had to step out the room and go to the bathroom. And while he was gone, I took the opportunity to ask them, you know, why are you all here? What's going on, really? And there's nothing watching TV. I mean, we can watch cartoons. Some veterans like watching the Three Stooges, cartoons and whatnot. And we kind of kicked it around. So after, before he came back, his mom turned around, looked at me, and she said, there's no problem him watching TV, but the television he's looking at hasn't worked in 3 years. And the channels he was turning were the channels of his friends who were destroyed or hurt during that time of the Vietnam. So a lot of things we hide. A lot of veterans hide a lot of things that they really don't want to talk about. I've had individuals come in, their spouses come in and say, well, Mike, this is what's going on and how can we change this? People had to put things together. And sometimes the hurts try to put things together of what happened in the past. But that's what really makes a good claim. And then a lot of times I tell them, you're gonna have to go to the University of YouTube. There are hundreds of veterans who have put their testimonies on YouTube. And I don't care what it could be or how it was. And when you type in veterans with bad knees or veterans with bad backs or veterans who have been through these trials and tribulations, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can sit there for 2 or 3 minutes and actually listen to their testimonies of what happened. And bringing these testimonies in, you kind of get an understanding, you kind of get into the language of what's going on. A lot of people say, well, look, I still have documentations of medical documentations when I went to sick bay and this happened to me and that happened to me. That's fine. But most veterans have to understand this day and age, we're talking about between 40 and 50 years since you went to sick bay. And we have to kind of concentrate, well, what's going on right now? What's wrong with me right now that's really just making me ill or whatever? And I asked them to start going to the various local, I say Patient First or some of these other medical places around here and find out really what's going on with you. We had to write things down. Well, it's my back, it's my leg. Well, then are you wearing a brace? How often have you gone to the doctors? For so many times, we have actually gone to CVS. We have become the doctors within ourselves. We think we have that MD degree behind us. We need medical documentation. We need a doctor to tell us what's going on. Now, it's good to have family members who sit back and look at you because they have become your mirror. They can tell you whether you're kind of walking to the right or to the left because your ankles are hurting or your back is hurting, that we assume that's good to go, but you've changed your whole lifestyle. For those of us sometimes who have been married several times or been various affiliations with family members are the best mirrors in the world to say, look, this is what's going on. You only sleep 2 and 3 hours at a time at night, you're still on duty. Nobody knows that but the person sitting next to you or hangs around the house with you. If you're talking loud, you have to turn the TV on. So when the neighbors walk past your house, they can hear your TV or your radio. It's because you're having hearing problems. We jump up and say, well, I can't hear. Okay, well, what side? Left side, right side, low tone, high tone? We try to bottle and we try to become our own doctors within our situation. And you're not being fair to yourself. You're not being fair to your spouse. You're not being fair to yourself. We have to really put these things down on paper before we even come into the office and say, hey, look, these are what the problems that are going on with me. You have to develop almost like a documentary of who you are and what you've been through, your trials and tribulations. It'll work, because when you start writing little things down, a couple of days today and some more next week or whatever, when you come back to the things you've written down, you say, wait a minute, did I write that down? Is this really what's going on with me? My son, after he served 21 years in the Navy Special Ops, before he left, he graduated from Stone High School. He was so quiet. You could hear him, you could hear a pin drop when he was around. When he got finished his tour, when he finished his 21 years and he had to sit down and actually write something up, he couldn't believe it because how much he had changed. During his military time, he got the nickname called Amplifier because he talks so much now. He's always on the go. He's always doing this and doing that. He couldn't believe how much he changed until his daughter, his wife, and his mother wrote things down of how he changed. So we have a little bit of homework to do. We have a little bit of concentration to do of who we are and what direction we want to go. You just can't walk into VA today and say, I want to file a claim. VA is super educated. They are super educated. They're doing things that are unbelievable. And now that this Zoom thing has come out, a lot of interviews are going across Zoom under special security and whatnot. And they're interviewing people from the West Coast. You ask to have an appointment, your doctor might be in Arizona or Wisconsin or California. They're just spreading a lot of things out and they're becoming super educated. We have a lot of opportunities to kind of break down. And another thing I always ask my veterans to do is to make sure they enroll into eBenefits and My Healthy Vets. eBenefits will give you so much information that you're entitled to. And once you enroll into that, you had the option to come here at the seal here in this office and actually get on computers. They have several computers that are behind me, and they had the training personnel and the opportunities for you to come in there and actually, if you can't do it by yourself, because sometimes it gets to be a headache to trying to enroll for eBenefits as well as My Healthy Vets. And they have, you'll have the people here, and then you'll have the people that are online. If you do it Monday through Friday, they have people that are online that can help you walk through. They're really good doing that. So there are other options that you can apply for. People say, well, I want to apply for Social Security, disability, and other things. You have to do your research. Everybody is different. If you turn around and you're talking to your friends or whatever, and they say, well, I just did this and I just did that. Everybody has a different fingerprint and your styles are different. I had a gentleman that used to come to classes and sit around and listen to everybody's conversation because they were getting this type of disability and they got this under so much percent, and they would run out there and file a claim basically on the same thing that was going on as everybody else because they wanted to increase their compensation. One gentleman came back to me. He was in his late 70s. And he said, Mike, I went and filed a claim and I tried to get more increase, and they reopened his entire case. And he went from 100% down to 70. And they told me, if you want to have an increase, you can come back through the door with an attorney. So there are a lot of little horror stories going on. Some people say they're not true. Some people shake their head, but trust me, VA is not playing. From one coast to the other coast, you have to have your documentation together. And when you start going to the doctors for your various things, make sure you go to different doctors to get an idea of what's going on with you before you even approach VA. Because you have to become more educated. And I'm not really knocking VA. I just want you to make sure that you're good doing what you're doing and you understand what you're going to do. You have to know yourself. And those are the things that we can start. Once you come together, most of the time I meet people here, or I'll meet them at Panera or someplace safe where they actually understand, they feel comfortable with. And doing that, I try to, take them through from one end to the other end to make sure they are prepared. I don't care who you get to represent you. I just want you to do your homework. I want you to get it down basics, to get everything, get all your facts together with your family. What do you look like? What do you talk like? Your various types of medicine. And you have to stop being your own doctor. You have to cut that out. You need an MD behind your name in order to to take, to go forth with the various things and activities. So with that, I can kind of open up some questions. Now, just keep in mind, I don't know everything, but I can sure take your name and your number and I'll go find something out. I have a heck of a crew that works with me. I have 8 people who are retired, some from VA, some from the area, who do a lot of research and who are willing to work. And like I said, they work beside me if I have something, some issues or some problems from when you were in Korea and you got frostbite all the way to MST, male and female. So we cover a lot of territory, but we try to do our best, not being able to give everything like we want, but we can try. So I just want to open up the door right now if anybody has any questions or anything. Okay, nobody has questions, that's good. I can go home, I'm hungry. So what's going on?
Hello, my name is Shafan. I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, correct me if this is not true, but I understand that 75% of the homeless men and women are veterans. And if that is true, is there anything that can be done to help them get off the street, whether it's mental services or housing? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's an excellent question. I'm affiliated with the doctors who meet once a month down in the DC medical facility. And I've actually emphasized the point that Charles County, that the Southern Maryland area has a large population of homeless. And with that, they're emphasizing the point of trying to find exact housing and mental assistance for that. Now, keep in mind, a lot of veterans don't want help right now. A lot of them don't want to throw that towel and say, I need some help, or I need housing or whatnot. But those that do, we try to make a super emphasis on that to try to really entertain them and find them and ask them to come out. And with the sophistication of computers and technology now, we can kind of call around while they're sitting there and actually work with that. I work with a group in Baltimore who, over a period of time, if you're a veteran, you have your DD-214, if you can't find them, we go find, try to find it for you and help you out. But they will actually set up something that someone will come from Baltimore and give you housing or get you off the street and get you started, whatever. But it's a heck of a program they got, but it's a little boot camp within itself. But they do, and they are trying to help. They can't help everybody, but they're trying to help those who are reaching out to them.
Thank you for that. And would you be so kind as to put that Baltimore information in the chat so I can send it out to the appropriate persons that might benefit for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Let me add on too. There's a young lady named Sandy Washington who's in the process of receiving funds to have a place in between the borderline of La Plata and Charles County. She's just, I think, renovated one of the hotels in the area. And we're kind of working in that category to try to have not priority, but give the opportunity to homeless veterans as well. And I do know Charles County is working on several hotels in the area that this coming winter months, certain organizations donate funds to assist the veterans to get off the street on those cold days and cold nights.
Hi, Mr. Moses. My name is Joan Romanap. My father previously was the statewide commander for the Military Order of the Purple Heart. And I'm sure we know many people in common. But what I wanted to mention is that up in Baltimore, if this is the agency that you're thinking of, it's called NABVETS. It
Yes.
stands for the Maryland Center for Veterans Education and Training.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're located by the main post office in Baltimore City,
Yeah.
if you're familiar with that area.
Yes, ma'am.
Then also down in St. Mary's County, there is Charlotte Hall Veterans Home.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and thank you very much for your information today.
You're welcome. Young lady, do you know if Charlotte Hall is accepting veterans now? I know they had a hold on that because of the various things that were going on. Are they accepting veterans yet?
I'm not sure if they are accepting veterans yet, but they are the only veteran home in the state of Maryland that also takes spouses. So if there's a husband and wife, they could move together, which is really, it's very nice. So
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi, we have Mr. White here does not have a microphone, and he has been working with helping veterans file claims And he noted that to start the ball rolling, you have to file an intent to file form, which gives you then a year to begin pulling all of your information together for the claim process. Mr. Moses, can you speak to any of that, like the process of getting started?
Yes, ma'am. There are two forms that we really ask you to fill out. One is the intent to file, as the gentleman stated, and the other one is the POA. The POA represents who's going to represent you. And that name needs to be one that's registered, with VA, that gives you a little bit of clout. And the intent to file, you do have, after you fill it out, you do have a year. You have two ways that you can fill it out. You can fill it out online, and you can also fill it out, with the mail. Sometimes I ask my veterans to do both, because there's nothing better than to have a certified return receipt in your hand when you submit something to VA. Not saying they're going to lose it, but just to be on the safe side. So there are two forms, intent to file as well as POA, that they ask you to fill out and submit to VA to knock on their door saying, hey, I'm in the process of filing a claim and I'm coming your way. And that gives you a year to gather all of your information from your medical documentation, from your DD-214 to your various testimonies, for you to do your research and your homework to go ahead and submit, because you have to make it service connected. If you want to file a claim and you want to make a service connected, you have to find out exactly what's going on, what actually happened to you within that time span. And it is necessary to fill out both of those forms. Yes, ma'am.
Mike, we have another question and it says, if a veteran served 8 years active duty and 12 years in the reserves, would they be entitled to a pension in addition to SSDI benefits?
I think basically only the benefits. I don't think they're entitled. I might be wrong. I don't think they're fully entitled to that pension. It depends on who it depends on the individual. I would have to check into that, not to say something, irregular, but I would have to check into that. I would, get back with you with your number with that and have something solid and positive. That way I can give my opinion, and then I could give you something in writing according to Title 38.
It's been my experience that if you've served 8 years active duty and your disability is service connected, you can get disability benefits. As far as pension, to count that the reserves time as enough time for retirement, I'm not sure, but you can get disability benefits or disability compensation and SSDI benefits. Bob has also stated in 95% of the cases, the VA will fax back a receipt to if you fax in the intent to file. They need the intent to file in by midnight of the last day of the month to get paid by the first day of the next month. But please understand that an intent to file does not mean you have completed filing your benefits. You have to complete the filing process, which is the medical review, just as if you were applying for SSDI or SSI.
Yes, and after you can consolidate all the basic information you need, that's when you put everything on what they call a veteran form 526, E as in Edward, Z as in zebra. And that's when you consolidate and put all your information on that particular form, because VA is really a stickler when it comes to these various types of forms that they ask you to fill out. And another thing that really helps you out is with your veteran service officer. They have access to something they call a DBQ. They kind of look alike, but they're not. One is the concern, and the other one is the function that you're actually entitled to, not entitled to, but something that's wrong with you. And you kind of can review both of those together, and you can come up with a solid estimate of actually how you are service connected based on this DBQ, the Disability Questionnaire Survey. And it really helps you kind of iron things out, what direction you want to go, what's going on with your back. If you have a back problem, then it breaks it down to the various other components of what's probably causing you to have an ill problem. Even though DBQs were discontinued, the VSOs do have access to that category if need be necessary to help you out with that. If you're accredited, the VSO does still have access to that.
Okay, for the question of the reserve time. The reserve time, you need 50 points each year to get credit for those years. And then you need to get a 20-year letter. There's something called Chapter 3 retirement. This is only good for those who serve between 15 to 19 years in the Guard and the Reserve, as in the Army. And he says you also want to limit the issues to 5. I guess issues is your medical disabilities to 5 issues, since the adjudications have 30 minutes to adjudicate your claim. So they only have 30 minutes to look over your claim. So you want to limit each concern to 5.
Okay.
And the DBQ stopped at 4/2/2020. So they no longer use the DBQs.
But it's always good research to look them over.
Yes, I agree.
Get your hand on those DBQs because they're almost like gold. And they really help you break various components of your body, mentally and physically, that will help you in the near future. Even though some of them may be old or inadequate or out of place or whatever, if you can, get hold of one of them. And you know, it'll help you maintain that during your trials and tribulations of filing a claim.
Hello, sir. This is Shafan again. I have one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a program for blind veterans specifically, or are you reaching out to services that do help individuals who are blind or visually impaired? Thank you.
I do know where I'm sitting at right now. Pam and her staff, they actually have the equipment and the knowledge to back that up, to actually entertain any of those questions that could really help you. I'm not really familiar with that, honestly, but I know they are. All right, while they're waiting to pick something up, did I confuse anybody? Do I need to emphasize on something else that'll help?
I think Lori needs,
Yeah.
there she is.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm the one who asked about the vet with the 12 years in reserves and 8 years active duty. If the person's disability is really not, it's not service related, you know, they're getting SSDI, but they want to retire and get a pension from the military. So would somebody with that much time in get a pension, could get a pension as well?
To my knowledge, if it's not service connected, I'm not sure about that, young lady.
No, in other words, the disability, that's separate. They get SSDI, that's different, but they want to get a pension from the military, you know, retiring and get a pension from the military. And I'm wondering if that much time deserves you a pension. 8 years active duty and 12 years active reserves. That's 20 years.
Lori,
Yes.
no. According to this, when you serve reserve time, it's only considered for half the time each year.
Oh.
So you would have to serve between 19 years
I hear you talking,
in the
Alan.
reserve in order for to equal the total enough time to retire.
How many, I'm sorry,
Retirement.
I didn't get that, I'm sorry. How many years in the reserves?
You would have to serve 15 to 19 years in the reserves in order to be considered to have enough time for retirement.
Okay. So 12 years reserves and 8 years active duty, that's not.
No, because that would only total 16 years.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
And it would be considered a Chapter 3 retirement, which is, if you give us a call after the fact, after this call, we'll be able to give you more detail because it's not a quick answer.
Okay, so that,
Because you would have to obtain a letter, a 20-year letter. And if you qualify for it, we can help you obtain that letter.
okay, so now, would you advise this person I'm talking about to go to her cell and have them sort of work through all this? Because it's dazzling to me, you know what I mean? Like,
You can go to a cell, you can go to, look up, there's DAV, there's NABVETS, there's a lot of veterans organizations. VA can help you locate a veteran service officer, a VSO agent who could help you connect the dots.
okay. But basically, you've given me the important answer, and that is really no pension with that kind of time. And that's kind of the bottom line, really. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Deborah, you may jump in and ask your question.
One day
Hello?
of wartime service.
Hi, I have a friend who's here. He's a veteran as well. He has a question in reference to a CMP. Go ahead, Albert.
Yes. As I claimed, would one day of wartime service in relation to the time that you did on active duty, you know, what they did was they denied my CMP claim, right? Because they said I did not have enough time on active duty. But then one day of wartime service, isn't that contradictory?
Can you explain that one day wartime service? I don't understand that.
Vietnam era. At Vietnam era, right? Wouldn't they consider me, at that time, wouldn't that one day qualify me as a Vietnam era veteran, right?
Sir, when did that day end? The Vietnam War officially ended April 1975. When did you get out of service?
1974.
Then you are a Vietnam era veteran. Although you did not participate in the Vietnam War, you were on active duty during the Vietnam campaign. So if you file for a pension and your resources are such that you qualify for the pension, you should be eligible for it. So you might need to get somebody to look at that claim that you initially submitted.
Yes, sir.
Because it looked like someone may have made a mistake or a misjudgment about your claim. So the pension is from the military is not automatic. Let me put it that way. You have to essentially qualify for the pension because there are a lot of resource connections added to that, which have to be destitute and without resources to qualify for that pension.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell them, thank you. I will reapply. I'm going to try to reapply. Tell them thank you.
How long ago have you been, that you been denied?
It's been past the appeal time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you need to resubmit. All right, Bob, how are you?
All right, that's it. You only give you 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Thanks, Jeff.
Can he speak to you?
Yes, ma'am, I'm listening.
You know what I'm saying? Would he be able to talk with you? He's in the Washington, D.C. area,
What part of Washington, D.C.?
southeast.
Is he close to what, Anacostia? Where, I mean, where?
Yes, it's close to Anacostia.
Okay. They have a 1-800 number that you can call, and with that number, once you call in, they'll contact me, and then we can make some arrangements.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay, well, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mike, can you answer some of the questions that were given to you earlier, please?
Okay, I think it's you want me to read them, Pam, or you want to?
You can read them.
Okay, it states, how would a family member of a disabled vet qualify for benefits, be it spouse or disabled dependent minor of a veteran? VA supplies a form that you can fill out that would actually ask you different specifications pertaining to benefits if you qualify for their benefits. I myself personally, I don't make it a habit of saying that you qualify and you don't qualify. I always ask my veterans to fill out the particular forms pertaining to that and have it submitted to VA and let VA make that decision and not just, you know, the VSO. It states, the document says, is it ever too late to apply for service-connected benefits? In my experience, it's never too late. It's always that opportunity at the door for you to go ahead and file, because we don't know what has happened to you over the years, that something you might have had a service connection 30 and 40 years ago. And all of a sudden now it's coming to a head. And you know, you've been ignoring it, because most veterans are trained to ignore pain. And all of a sudden it comes about and you've been going to CVS for various issues or whatever, thinking that you're the doctor. So I would say, go ahead and submit the claim form, intent to file a POA, and start doing your homework, as I asked that before. So when you do have all the information pertaining to that, you can really entertain that. It goes all the way back, as somebody stated, to World War II veterans. It's just your right to go ahead and file. You should do it, and if you feel that way, let somebody else on the above level tell you no after you have finished and completed the proper documentations. The other one says, can you only receive benefits from VA if you were injured during your service time? No, not necessarily, not to my knowledge. Jerry Taylor, are you online?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, let's understand the entitlement to VA healthcare has changed over the years. During the Vietnam era, all you had to do was get into the service, and if you served 90 to 181 days, you qualified for VA medical care. VA medical care has nothing to do with a disability. It simply means that VA provides you with your health care, your primary health care. So you don't have to have a service-connected disability to qualify. No, there is an addendum to that. In 1980, as a matter of fact, October 1980, the rules changed as far as qualifying for military, qualifying for health care through VA. You now have to serve at least 24 consecutive months to qualify for VA health care. That changed in 1980, shortly after the end of the Vietnam era. And so there are a lot of veterans, especially post 9/11, being denied VA health care unless they have a service-connected disability, because they did not serve 24 continuous months of service. So there's a form to fill out to get the health care through VA. It is not automatic. You have to apply for it.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, another one was that what documents should someone have if they are preparing to apply for veterans benefits? As I initially stated, your DD-214 would be really good to have to start to show proof that you were a veteran. And as I stated earlier, start pulling your documents together, because when the VSO has the opportunity in VA to go into what they call a VVMS, they're going to see everything that has happened to you. They're going to see your whole military record, possibly what's been going on all the way back to day one of your military career. That shows everything, even your stress medals that you may have earned, that you may have captured, and that you forgot all about. Those stress medals are things like Purple Heart or other things of that nature all the way around the corner that shows that you were under some type of stress. Also, your documentation, your paperwork, anything you can get your hands on to prove your point. As I stated, your testimonies, go to YouTube, see what's all about, see what you're talking about. You can type in veterans with bad knees or veterans with bad backs, see what they say, see what's going on. Different ways to file an MST, male and female. So you have a series of about a good 30 to 40 days of research and homework I advise you to do before you even attempt to fill out. As the gentleman stated earlier, you do have to file out the intent to file and let VA know, hey, I'm knocking at the door. I need a year to go ahead and fill this out. That'll tell VA that you're in the process of filing the claim. And then your POA. Once VA recognizes that you've gone back and forth to the doctors, the various doctors to affiliate, VA will recognize that you're not solo. They will recognize that you have done your homework and that you acquire to them. It's a big, like a big choir singing now, singing the blues, that you have something that's going on with you. And that's really good in your corner. The more people you have, the more backing you have. And when you go to a VA interview, do not go by yourself. Always have somebody there beside you, always. 2 heads are better than 1. We both can sit down and watch an accident in front of our house. When you come back in the police report, both of us are gonna have 2 different ideas about what happened in front of our eyes. That's the same thing you need. When you have somebody with you with these CMP exams, you had 2 people hearing the same thing. It helps 100%, because when you get back in your car and going home or whatever, it'll be interesting to hear the conversation that you just experienced. And then if you have you've already filed for your e-benefits and My Healthy Vets, then whatever that conversation was when you were talking to the doctor is employed into My Healthy Vets. And then in the meantime, you actually understand, you can go back and forth with e-benefits to find out what you're entitled to. So everything will evolve around one thing, but you have to prepare yourself and you have to keep your records, please. See, the last question I have here, will VA provide personal care attendance for veterans or their dependents? It depends on if you qualify for service connected. And I might stand corrected on that. I think Pam Ford has a lot of feedback with that. Pam, you wanna make a comment on that one?
Yes. If you are a veteran and you are service connected and you do need a personal care attendant, VA, especially if you're 100% service connected, they will become your main health provider. And then, well, after Medicare, it depends on the your age or if you're receiving benefits from Social Security. And then they too will help pay for your personal care attendant. They will also send aides into the home to take care of you, called aid and attendance. So there are a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits out there available if you are in need of personal care attendants. As far as their dependents, it depends on if you're married and you're 100%, yes. If you are a dependent and you have not been deemed as a dependent with a disability before the age of 18, then no, you will not qualify for benefits under VA if your parent was 100% disabled.
Thank you, Pam. And I also want you all to keep in mind, VA is really good. VA will help a veteran as much as they can, but a veteran has to be educated in the meantime while they're knocking on the door of VA. Sometimes you have your ups and downs, but it works both ways. You have to know what you're doing. The federal law, that Title 38, was initiated for all veterans. And actually, if you really want to get to know what you're entitled to, there's a book that's available right now. It's called What Every Veteran Should Know. I advise everybody, if you can, to go ahead and try to purchase that. Again, it's called What Every Veteran Should Know. If you go to Amazon, it's only about $20 or $30. The new edition is out right now. That's the 2020 edition is out. I think it has a gold front to it. That book will actually enlighten everything. It starts from World War I and II all the way up to present day. It will tell you everything you need to know as being a veteran.
Mr. White states that he's a retired VA veteran. He retired from VA in December of 2018. He says if your disability is service connected, you can file for aid and attendant. And if you're having your spouse take care of you, then you want an RI rating. That's unfamiliar to me, which pays about $95,000 a year.
Goodness.
Cheryl, yes. If you are on TRICARE, you can use aid and attendant services. A dependent can. And Mr. White, I did let them know that the child had to be deemed disabled prior to the age of 18. Once your dependent minor turns 18 years old, VA will not make any exceptions to the rule unless you can prove that their disability happened at birth, and that's very hard to do. We're coming to an end. We have about 10 minutes left. Heather attached a PowerPoint, a short PowerPoint presentation that has the first few pages of the VA website on it. And at the end, it also has some links for, I call them hot links, because they're to the VA, Department of Veterans Affairs, Veterans Health Administration, VA Benefits Healthcare, and how to find your closest location. Also, at the end of this, you'll have contact information for the 1-800 number for Veterans Affairs is an important number to have if you're a veteran, because it will help you. It will direct you to different areas, whether you're in crisis, whether you want to file your intent to file, you can do it at that number, and it will hold that date for you from that call on. Also, in addition, it has Mr. Moses's contact information, as well as the information for the Center for Independent Living Southern Maryland. Of course, I'm sure you can contact any of the other CILs and they will direct you to where you need to go. I'm reading. Oh. So I have Mike, Bob, Jerry. They seem to be our subject matter experts that are online right now. I have a young lady who wants to know if there are any, do you know of any programs that can help a veteran that's been affected by COVID? Because her veteran came in and informed them that their entire family was diagnosed with COVID-19, and they have to go to the hospital, and he uses aid and attendant care. But they have to isolate. So what are the best options do you think would be for them? If they are using aid and attendant care and they have to isolate, What services can they receive from VA?
Pam, it depends on, is the veteran already in the system?
Yes, they are receiving aid and attendance services currently.
Okay, and they have tested positive?
The entire family has, yes.
Okay, that does not make his aid and attendance null and void. It simply means that the people that is taking care of him, they will have to pretty much be in excessive protective equipment to protect themselves from the infected patient. That will not make his care null and void. They will still have to provide the care for him.
Does that answer your question, Crystal? Also, that one was for Crystal. Also, Bob, yes, you're right. If a vet is rated 100%, the family does have CHAMP VA. That is the spouse and its dependent. If the dependent was found disabled prior to the age of 18 or is a minor, not anyone that's over the age of 18. And so you would either have to be a minor, a dependent that was found disabled prior to the age of 18. So in that case, Crystal,
Yes.
the dependents, if they're under the age of 18, they're covered under CHAMP VA. If they're over the age of 18, they would have been deemed disabled prior to that age, provided your veteran is 100% disabled with VA. So the veteran is, let's be clear, the veteran is cared for under TRICARE. The family members or the dependents are treated via CHAMP VA. Type your answer, Bob. I see you shaking your head. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Go, try again.
So we see you too now, Bob.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you are a military retiree, you're covered under TRICARE. If you're not a military retiree, you're covered under CHAMP VA. You can't have both.
Right. Correct. But the family is covered under CHAMP VA, not.
No. The family is covered under TRICARE. If the veteran is a retiree, they cannot be covered under CHAMP VA because he's a military retiree. Jerry's a military retiree. His family's covered under TRICARE. If he had not retired, then as a 100% disabled veteran, then everyone's covered under CHAMP VA. CHAMP VA is a 75-25% split. You can get supplementary plans, or you hope that they don't care about the other 25%. It becomes a secondary payer if you're on Medicare as well, too.
Okay.
Okay.
You get all your drugs for free if you get it over the internet with CHAMP VA. Oh, one last thing. If any of you are a military retiree, there's a retirement home across from the Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center. And if you can walk in there, even if the next day you got to go into a nursing home, then they only take 25% of your retirement, and it's a wonderful place to live. I've interviewed for a job there. Beautiful place. But if you're sick, you can't get in there. And they have another location down in Mississippi. I think Keesler Air Force Base.
Yes.
So you have two wonderful places you can retire to if you don't want to go to the Maryland retirement home as well. And if you're a 100% disabled veteran, you get into the Maryland retirement home free of charge for yourself.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So we're gonna have to close now because our time is up. Thank you, Mike, for being our subject matter expert of the day and our guest speaker. Thank you, Bob, for chiming in, as well as Jerry. Thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, Mike's contact information, as well as Southern Maryland Center for Independent Living's contact information, is in that PowerPoint. Bob posted his information in the chat room. Next Monday is Labor Day, so there is no IM. And I believe the next meeting is scheduled for September 14th, and the topic is national legislation. If there are any announcements that need to be made, now is the time to do so.
Pam, Mike Bullis, who from Image Center is organizing for the 14th, and he is not on today, but he did mention that we will be having some representatives from the National Federation for the Blind and Nickel on the 14th as part of the discussion about the national legislative agenda. So we'll be getting all the registration information up about that this week. And I think Janice Jackson had a community event announcement.
Yes, good afternoon. My name's Janice Jackson, and I am the executive director of a nonprofit mentoring program called Women Embracing Abilities Now, which mentors women and young ladies with disabilities. We just launched a new nonpartisan initiative, which is reaching out to everyone everywhere to help the disability vote be counted in the election in November. COVID has really affected everybody in some kind of way, but it's really affected the disability community, and a lot of us are quarantined, shut in, and we don't want this to be a reason why our votes will not be counted. The initiative is entitled Tote My Vote, and what we're doing is reaching out to our allies, to anyone that can help us get the word out that if you know of anyone with a disability, works with individuals with disabilities, please reach out to them and ask them, how can we help you to make sure your vote gets to the ballot boxes or the mailboxes. This entails filling out applications, printing out applications, mailing them to individuals, whatever they need, but we just have to reach out. This is a nationwide initiative, so I have allies in different states that are on board. They're passing the word around to make sure everybody has a chance to have their voices heard through their votes. I can give the Image Center flyers. I have them in several formats to get them out on your emails, your social media, wherever you can spread the word, please. I think it's 61 million Americans with disabilities, and we have got to get out here and get those votes counted. So again, we can spread all the information to the SEALs. I would love to have you guys get on board with us, because your voices in the SEALs are very important in the community. So please just get it out there and let our voices be heard in this election. And again, it's nonpartisan. I don't care who you vote for, just really get out there and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Shannon from Independence Now posted, I don't know if everyone can see the chat. It says, Black and brown disparities within COVID-19 today, Monday, August 31st, from 4 to 5 p.m. While COVID-19 has ravaged the country, various communities have been impacted, especially hard. Hashtag Black and brown people with hashtag disabilities have experienced the worst of this hashtag pandemic. with a rate of infection 5 times that of white people. Join hashtag Independence Now for a conversation on underlying causes and where we go from here. Speaker to be confirmed. There is a Zoom meeting. The link is here. So if you guys can see it, you can copy it, you can paste it. The meeting ID is also here. It's 882-1801-1315. Again, the meeting ID number is 882-1801-1315. The passcode is 781490. Again, the passcode is 781490. And I'm almost 100% certain that if you go to Independence Now website, it's on their calendar. I see Sarah with thumbs up, so I am correct. It says
Thanks,
One Tap
Pam.
Mobile, 301-715-8592. So please, everyone, go to Independence Now, check out their website, go to their calendar, hit this link and join that Zoom meeting because it's from 4 to 5, and I'm sure it's gonna help you guys out a lot. It's gonna be beneficial to everyone. Again, we like donations. And there's a link where you can give freely to help continue this great event for I Am, where it really shows what it means to be independent and gives you a lot of information, provides you with a lot of information. And for our center, when we receive donations, we can help build ramps, we help modify vehicles, we buy durable medical equipment, right down from dentures to eyeglasses to help individuals live independently. It's all about you. So reach out to one of your centers for independent living, make a donation, donate via the I Am link that you were sent to for this Zoom meeting. And we hope and we look forward to seeing you on the 14th. Heather?
Thank you so much. I'm posting the link now. I also wanted to let folks know that we are caught up through last Monday with YouTube uploads. So all of the IAMs through last Monday are posted. We'll be getting this one up hopefully by the end of this week. So I was going to stick the link to the YouTube channel in there, which I have to find first. I can post it. So if you're interested, you can visit YouTube and look for, it's on the Image Center's list, but it's the Independence Amplified Maryland playlist. So if you search, you should be able to find it. And I'm going to post a link too. So thanks everybody for joining us.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You.
Thank you.